This Civic Media podcast is sponsored by UW Organ and Tissue Donation. Organ donations are desperately needed, and now is the right time to become an organ donor. Talk to your family. Get the dot. Save lives. Go to heroicdeed.com.
This is your WXCO Daily News Roundup for Bull Falls Radio, 98.9 FM and 1230 AM in Wausau.
For WXCO News, I'm Brittany Merlot. The Wisconsin Elections Commission has ordered an investigation into the Madison City Clerk's office after nearly 200 ballots were not counted in the November election. Madison Bureau Chief Savannah Tomei-Olsen has the story.
The day after Christmas, the clerk's office made public that 193 people's absentee ballots were not processed. According to a timeline from the mayor's office, staff from the clerk's office found the first batch of sealed absentee ballots on November 12th and the second batch on December 3rd. That timeline says the clerk's office first asked the Wisconsin Elections Commission about the issue on December 18th, notified the city attorney the next day, and told the mayor's office the day after that. That means they didn't tell any outside agencies about the problem until more than a month after the first batch of ballots was found. And that delay is part of the problem for the Wisconsin Elections Commission. Chair Ann Jacobs says rather than wait for someone to file a complaint about the uncounted ballots, they want to investigate as soon as possible.
My inclination was that this was such a serious oversight. I didn't want to wait for a complaint. I felt it was important that the commission act promptly. And I have real questions about what all happened here, and I would want to know those answers sooner rather than later. Some of it is just speed. I thought this was so egregious that it was important we move immediately.
Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway's office is starting an investigation of their own. She says she fully supports the commission's investigation and that the city will cooperate with anything the commission requests. She even said she would delay the city's investigation if that would make things easier for the commission. The mayor had previously said she was open to taking, quote, whatever corrective action is necessary, end quote. This is the first formal investigation since the Wisconsin Elections Commission was created in 2016.
Many were celebrating the New Year's in New Orleans, including a couple from Wausau. News 9 says Lydia Hunger Mendez and her husband started a New Year's trip in Georgia. Then they made their way to Bourbon Street in New Orleans for the big New Year's party. They narrowly escaped the deadly night, not knowing what happened until a flurry of messages the next morning as they left just prior to the truck driving through the crowd of people, killing 15 and injuring another 30. And starting the new year with new awareness of scammers and their methods can help you have a fraud-free year in 2025. Lisa Hale has more.
The Wisconsin Better Business Bureau has collected a group of resolutions to help you stay fraud-free. Add these to your list of weight loss and financial goals to make the upcoming year safer. Resolve to be cautious with email. Be wary of any unsolicited emails. Resolve to never send money to strangers. Research before making online payments and purchases. Resolve to never share personal information with a stranger. Resolve to create strong, unique passwords for each account that you have. And resolve to be social media smart. That means not sharing too much personal information. Finally, check your financial statements regularly and educate yourself on the latest scams. Find out more ways you can protect yourself against being scammed this year by seeing our story at civicmedia.us.
And the early catch and release season for inland trout opens this weekend. The season will run from tomorrow, January 4th through May 2nd. Anglers can only use artificial lures and must immediately release any trout that they catch. Anglers will be allowed to keep those trout beginning on May 3rd. And anyone planning to participate in the catch and release season will need a valid fishing license and an inland trout stamp. We've all set the impossible New Year's resolutions to lose 50 pounds or to give up sweets completely, but experts say to make your goals achievable. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day.
The goal, it's for a year. So like if we're 2 weeks in and we forgot what we wrote down, on January 1st when we were totally pumped writing down our goals, that's okay. That's all right. That's where you can bring in self-compassion. Be like, this is something that's important to me and it's going to be a journey. So that's why the goal is cool to have. That gives us direction to aim towards something, but having those baby steps, having the processes in place because it's a journey.
That's Emily Wright, an organizational impact coach at Lakeland Care Plus Consulting. And let's look at the population as the nation rang in the new year. Lisa Hale has the stats.
341,145,670 people with the start of the new year. This represents an increase of 2,640,171 people from last January 1st and 9,696,329 people from Census Day, April 1st, 2020. In January 2025, this month, the United States is expected to experience one birth every 9 seconds and one death every 9.4 seconds. Meanwhile, net international migration is expected to add one person to the United States population every 23.2 seconds. The combination of births, deaths, and net international migration increases the U.S. population by one person every 21.2 seconds. The projected world population on January 1st was over 8 billion people, an increase of over 71 million from New Year's Day 2024.
And during this month alone, 4 births and 2 deaths are expected worldwide every second. Major phone changes are coming. Stuart J. Waddles has the 411.
Your call is important. However, it'll have to be a cellular call. Starting in 2029, AT&T will stop offering a traditional landline phone service. The company says the copper lines and their maintenance is expensive. About 360,000 people in the state still get the old school hookup. AT&T says they do have a system that allows old phones to connect to their cellular network.
And setting New Year's resolutions or goals is the tradition for the beginning of a new year. Emily Wright, a lifestyle coach with True Self Coaching and Energetics in Poinet, says keeping the goals achievable is important.
I think it's important to have a realistic expectation, so we're not setting ourselves up for a disappointment right away. And I think the baby steps is key, because that way we can, maybe you have the goal of 40 pounds, but maybe it's 2 pounds in the first month. So can we achieve that? Fantastic. Can we achieve then what is the next one?
Wright also recommends writing down your goals so that you can revisit them and celebrate your success. And the Wisconsin Department of Motor Vehicles is highlighting some of their new offerings from the past year, including $6 million in funding to provide free driver training courses to low-income students. DMV officials say the program helped nearly 10,000 students through the new driver education grant program. And a local organization is raising money for families affected by pediatric cancer in Weston tonight. A bowling tournament is taking place at Dale's Weston Lanes. 22 teams are signed up to bowl right now, and if you want to get a team together, there are still spots left. Pinky Swear Foundation and a dozen others are sponsoring. There are over 70 local donors who provided raffle baskets and prizes. And one prize includes a football signed by the Green Bay Packers. I'm Brittany Merlot for WXCO.
The Bucks lose to the Nets. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. NBA, for the second time in a week, the Bucks lose at home to the Brooklyn Nets. The final 113-110. The Bucks trailed by as much as 24 points. Head coach Doc Rivers.
Yeah, two completely different games to me. I mean, the first game, the other night, Giannis was barely moving, getting back. Tonight, I just thought their defensive intensity, we literally didn't run much offense tonight, and you saw the difference.
NFL, the Packers getting ready to host the Chicago Bears Sunday. 3 Packer players named to the Pro Bowl. Defensive players Rashawn Gary and Xavier McKinney. On offense, running back Josh Jacobs, who left the Raiders to come to Green Bay, earning his 3rd career trip to the Pro Bowl.
I feel like if you go about things the right way, you come in every day willing to work, then all the accolades and all the other kind of things, it'll take care of itself in the end. So I just come in and, try to be a better version of me each day, and I guess I'm reaping that right now.
That's the Packers' Josh Jacobs. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Are you looking for a drastic New Year's resolution that might lead to immortality? A new documentary called Don't Die might be for you. The film chronicles rich tech guy Brian Johnson's quest to not only live forever, but turn back time when it comes to the body. He wants to be 18 again, and thanks to some controversial methods, likes his chances. In the film, viewers will see Johnson's routine, which according to Variety, includes a daily regimen of taking 130 pills, dinner at 11 a.m., going to bed at 8:30 p.m., working out for 90 minutes a day, and weekly MRIs, skincare treatments, plasma exchanges, and a type of gene therapy that is not approved by the FDA. That wasn't enough. Instead of celebrating his birthday every 12 months, Johnson does so every 19 months. And it only costs $2 million a year. The documentary is only 88 minutes long. I'm guessing Brian Johnson wanted it to be much longer. You can stream Don't Die on Netflix. Tom Cruise is getting into the casting business. The Mission Impossible star is currently looking for a younger version of himself to play the role of Ethan Hunt. The next 2 installments installments of the franchise, those would be films 8 and 9, will be prequels. Rumor has it the 8th film will be Cruise's last on screen, but he will still continue to produce the franchise. Glenn Powell was initially rumored to take over the role, but those rumblings have recently been shot down. No word yet on whether or not Cruise will expect his younger self to do his own stunts. Could be a deal breaker. Sticking with the action thriller genre, Viola Davis will play the president in the upcoming film G20. Variety reports the Oscar winner will play Commander-in-Chief Danielle Sutton, who narrowly avoids being kidnapped, then proceeds to save her family and the world. The film will be directed by Patricia Riggin and drop on Amazon Prime this coming spring. For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network. Hollywood has a reputation of being progressive, but as a recent drill down would indicate, that isn't always the case. According to Variety, despite women directing some of 2024's critically acclaimed hits like Baby Girl, The Fire Inside, and The Substance, overall, women directed just 16% of the 250 top-grossing films from last year. That is about the same percentage as 2023. When you drill down even further, women directed only 11% of the top 100 grossing films from last year. 23-year-old music phenom Billie Eilish had the most streamed song of 2024. The song Birds of a Feather off Eilish's third album, Hit Me Hard and Soft, was streamed over 1.75 billion times on Spotify. The song was written by Eilish and her brother Phineas. Birds of a Feather has been nominated for 3 Grammy Awards, including Song of the Year, Record of the Year, and Best Solo Performance of the Year. Looks like I got shut out again.
Partly cloudy and cold today. Our high in the mid-teens, but the wind out of the northwest at 10 to 20 is going to keep that wind chill below zero all day long. Tonight, mostly clear, down to around zero for a low. Tomorrow, sunshine with a high once again in the low to mid-teens. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Temperature now is 10.
That's your WXCO Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at bullfallsradio.com. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.